This is just a quick run through of some of the MIDI capabilities of the Behringer EDGE. A few potential questions over here. Does it do MIDI pitch? Yes. How about MIDI velocity? Yes. Okay, now do those bits of information come out of the CV out? So velocity, let's put the velocity into the VC mod. So the louder or the harder I hit the key, the brighter this should be, which it is. Let's add some noise, make it more obvious. Okay, what about pitch? So hopefully, if this works, when it's lower down, it'll be darker. When it's higher up, it'll be brighter. It sounds the same to me. So this knob here should change the amount of modulation coming through there. And it's not doing anything. So pitch CV out from MIDI, it's not doing, so you couldn't use it as a MIDI to CV converter. Next up is the sequencer. Does it accept MIDI Sync? Obviously it does. It's got MIDI Sync, USB or internal stroke external. Let's try this. There we go. Let's just make it sound a bit better. What's interesting there is the Cobalt 5S isn't actually playing anything, but we're receiving the clock from this. So press play on the Edge. And I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but that play light isn't lit. Now it is. Strange, but very, very useful. Okay, next up, swing. It doesn't accept swing from the Cobalt 5S. Maybe it does it from other things, I don't know, but if I just... Gone from plus 64 down to minus 64 and there was no change there. Let's just play it a bit slower, just in case. Getting no change there, are we, whatsoever? So that's a no to MIDI swing. Now the triggers that we're getting from this MIDI, do they come out of the trigger out? Let's put something into the trigger out. Let's just take this one out so we don't confuse things. Trigger out into the noise level. You can hear there, as we hit a key, we're getting a trigger. What about when we play it? Yes. How about when we play it from here? Yes. So it's pretty flexible, I suppose. You could play a sequence on something else. You could have the pitch and the velocity, play it, so you don't need to rely on the sequencer on board, which means potentially you could do much longer sequences. Let's try oscillator 1 and 2 and oscillator 2 just to see if they both respond. Let's take this off. I do like that sound with just a little bit of fluff on it. Sort of sounds like a needle on a record, doesn't it? Just a bit too much fluff on there. Just to make that into a sort of straight up 808 style thing. There we go. 808 style drums pitched. So I'm pitching oscillator 1, pitching oscillator 2 as well, I imagine at the same time. So I can't see a way of, because this is turned off here, I can't see a way of pitching just one of the oscillators. Like here we can have just oscillator 2 or off. oscillator 1 and 2. I can't see where this configuration being duplicated via MIDI. I might be missing something. But the pitch out isn't coming out of there, so we can't put the pitch of 1 into oscillator 2, for example. Yeah, not sure about that. So you can't replicate the sequencer you've got here. Both of the oscillators are going to respond to the frequency. How about if I play 2 notes? No. A wild stab in the dark. Maybe with the app, maybe they'll put oscillator 1 on channel 1 and oscillator 2 on channel 2. That'd be really cool. And then you can do loads of stuff. Excellent. Little idea for them. And finally, MIDI Reset. I've actually got Synth Tribe version 2.6.1, and you can see there's nothing on here about the Behringer EDGE yet. So as far as things stand at the minute, there's no way of resetting this. Just like on the DFAM, there's no way of setting it via CV. On this, there's no way of resetting the sequence via CV or MIDI. Maybe that'll come. Maybe that'll come when the app's updated for this. Okay, well, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please think about subscribing, ring the bell, all that stuff to help support the channel. I don't really like asking for it, but it really does help me to keep things going. Keeps the wife off my back. Allows me to use this table to do this sort of stuff. And talking of supporting the channel, actually, I do have a sound pack for the Edge, about 433 samples, I think, in WAV and an AIF format on my Patreon page. I've also got on my starskycar.com website for, I think it's like £5, but a nice way of having a little play around with the sounds that you can get from it, see if they're your sort of thing. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Hope that was of use, and I'll see you next time.